If you can't make it to Broadway, we're bringing Broadway to you each and every week, right here on The Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. I'm so glad you're joining us.
There's a house, and it's flying through the sky. I'm off to see the wizard.
After all these years, Wicked is still as popular as ever on Broadway, on tour, and in the cinema. And now, Wicked for Good is a box office hit at the movies. Paul Wontorek is here with the story of the incredible actress who plays Nessa Rose on Broadway.
Thank you for having us in your home, Jenna.
Yeah, this is
your
great.
beautiful home away from Wicked, home away from Oz.
Yes, get a little bit out of the city,
Yeah.
have a little more space.
So you are Nessa Rose.
Yes.
Of course, Elphaba's sister. And you are the first ambulatory wheelchair user
Yes.
to ever play Nessa Rose. And obviously
Yes.
Nessa Rose uses a wheelchair. So this is something that had to happen. This is a beautiful moment right now. How are you feeling being a few months into the run, having this new Broadway career, because you also finished a run in Suffs on Broadway. How's life? How are you feeling right now being at this point?
I never imagined for myself that I would be on Broadway. It was never, I was really happy working in regional theater, and when the opportunity then came to audition for Suffs in New York, I had to take it. It feels so natural, which is such an interesting thing. It's so exciting every night, but it also feels so comfortable. It feels like home. It feels like such a good place to be every night. And so much of that is the companies I've gotten to work with.
It seems like a no-brainer that an actress like you would get to play Nessa Rose, but 20 years went by without anyone in the industry really thinking that. Sometimes when the opportunity isn't already there, did you even dream that the opportunity was possible?
I understand some of the hesitation because our rhetoric as a society about what it means to be disabled or what it means to use a wheelchair is pretty limited. So if you don't have someone teaching you and telling you, here's how we can become more accessible and more inclusive, you don't even know to ask. You don't even know what possibilities are out there. So it didn't surprise me that it hadn't happened yet. It frustrated me, of course, because I want to see disabled stories told by disabled performers and disabled writers and disabled directors. What was exciting about joining Wicked was also we can have those conversations now.
Going to work, going to Wicked.
Going to Wicked. It's a normal day. Nothing like the Gershwin.
Literally nothing like it.
We were at the Broadhurst the other day for the flea market.
Oh yeah.
And just being on those two stages on the same day, you really notice the difference in size. And gosh, the Gershwin is just, it's so grand. It's so big.
Does it really hit you that you're part of the Wicked fandom? I mean, that's gonna be the rest of your life. I mean, that's huge.
It is certainly not, it hasn't clicked.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling very excited that I'm a working actor on Broadway, this is great. It hasn't really sunk in that Wicked is the thing I've been able to do.
Aladdin is moving up the list of the longest running shows in Broadway history at the New Amsterdam Theater, now for more than a decade. All right, well, let's just jump in and talk about your long love affair with Princess Jasmine.
Oh, yeah. I love her. She's a part of me. And I think when you grow up, I'm a mixed race kid. I'm half Indian, half white. You look for role models as a kid, and she was always one of them. She's so many things. You see yourself visually represented, but also she's tough and smart and courageous, and she goes after what she believes in despite what everyone says around her. So I think she's an awesome role model for kids, and I love to be able to do that in a reimagined Broadway version of that every day.
Does it still feel emotional to play the role each night?
Yeah, but I think that you relax into it after a while, and so there's moments that surprise me. And I hear a phrase in a new way, or I'm watching other people and noticing something for the first time in that moment. And I think that makes me emotional, totally. Every day, there's a little kid in that audience whose life has changed forever. People are like, why do you think Aladdin's been so successful? And I think it's because we are so rooted in joy. everyone is so happy by the end of the show, and that can be cathartic and healing, and there's so much not joy going on in the world, and so I think that it's a beautiful thing to return to that and to choose joy every day.
Aladdin is such a staple now on Broadway, which is pretty amazing. How does the cast feel, and how does that look celebrating that?
I think we feel really lucky because, I mean, you look at other Broadway shows and we're just so lucky to have lasted. 10 years is a huge milestone for Broadway. I mean, there aren't that many shows that hit 10 years. So then to be a part of that and to know that we have a future beyond this too, and it brings us together, and I think every day we just count our lucky stars for sure.
And what's remarkable is being in the show now as an adult, but you've played this role before, right? What's the difference between those two? I feel like there's a little difference.
Production value might have been a little different.
Aside from that.
No, I actually, it was funny, a friend of mine who I hadn't talked to in years sent me clips from that production. I played Jasmine in Aladdin Jr. when I was 12. And it's funny because there's parts of it that I'm like, I actually recognize myself in that little kid with braces. And we obviously didn't have like a real flying carpet and all that stuff. But yeah, it's like, it's the same heart and like the little kid in me I bring on stage with me every day too.
What did your family think when you got this role?
I think that like the honor and the pride they felt was the most emotional part of the journey for me. And, you know, they've like seen me be an actor auditioning for years, and they've known I've wanted this my whole life. So I think to be there on my Broadway debut night, and I come out on a cart in my first scene, and I can see the audience, and I immediately spotted my parents, even though they were wearing masks, and I was like, okay, I can't look there for the rest of the night, because I could just see them like crying, and yeah, it's beautiful.
It is the ultimate diva showdown. Broadway audiences are still drinking the potion for Death Becomes Her, the hilarious musical based on the film starring Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Okay, what made you see Death Becomes Her and think, this has to sing, and how many times did you see it before you said it out loud?
That's a very good question.
It does start with a musical number.
Yes.
True.
Yeah. When it was suggested, it was an immediate like, oh, absolutely, this is a movie that sings and would lend itself perfectly to a musical. I was obsessed with the movie forever. I watched it in college on rotation, on Halloween and every other day. But you came to it later.
I came to it later. It was always that thing that was like on in the middle, and I was like, I need to start this from the beginning. But I've always loved Zemeckis and Silvestri, who did the original score, and it's just so over the top. It's all, the movie's already larger than life. It's got love, death, and betrayal, and magic, and all the
Very
things
operatic.
that, like, yeah.
It's a really fun game. It's something I love about a movie musical adaptation. Like, I love sitting there with a notepad, watching a movie and going like, that moment could sing. That moment, that makes sense. They break out into song. It becomes like an assignment.
And how do we do something without copying it or just putting it on the stage? How do we really like interpret it? Like, yes, Death Becomes Her is based on the myth of Ernest, Helen, Madeline, and Viola. And that's the movie interpretation of that myth. And now we're going to...
it's been handed down through the ages.
Yeah, generations upon generations. Yes. Yeah, the walking undead. Did you see her when she saw us? I could feast on that for days. She was jealous, green with envy when I said my fiancé.
So let's talk about your collaboration. Who is the chaos agent and who is the note taker?
Yes. Yes.
No one song is really written in the same way. We'll walk around and talk about it forever, talk about
There's
the
a
character.
lot of talking.
Sometimes one of us just like clicks into something, is like, I got it. And the other one is like, don't stop, follow it.
Right.
And then the other one takes notes and goes, chase it, Can't find it anymore.
Did you record that?
Tools check, booze check, now go upstairs and reattach that neck. Then off you go and no one will know that the women are dead, but they're alive.
So for people who maybe haven't seen the show yet, what appeals to you about the material and how do you describe it?
It's kind of unapologetic. It's just a fun, funny night.
And it's so rich and stimulating and grand, and I think it reminds us of, it's like a tribute to the old classic big musical comedy. I love the big voices. It's not trying to be put in any kind of box. It's a little bit of everything. Who cares about all my old boyfriends she stole? That won't happen this time, 'cause I'm in control. I found my true love, and I finally feel whole. It's all in the past, I won't dwell in, 'cause everything's coming up.
Julia Mattison, ladies and gentlemen.
What fun! What fun!
Yeah.
The Broadway show is back in just a sec. Broadway's been turned upside down. A Stranger Things prequel now on Broadway, taking place 24 years before the start of the smash Netflix hit. So let's head out to the theater for a backstage tour.
Hi friends, my name is Burke Swanson. I'm playing James Hopper Jr. over here at Stranger Things The First Shadow, and I'm going to take you on a little backstage tour. But before I do that, I should probably sign in. Here at the Marquee Theater, we'll do a big ol' heart right there for you and for me. Cheers. This is a shout out for our 100 shows, which we've of course changed to Patient 001 Henry Creel. This is the start truly of our backstage. You can see a bunch of our costumes here. We have 34 people on stage. Swings, covers, understudies, all going in throughout the show every single night. So there's a lot to be had. Our dressers are really keeping this show all together. Carey, can you talk about your space a little bit and what is going on here?
Yeah, this is the WHAM department, wigs, hair, and makeup. We do about 50 wigs in the show every night.
All of the blood that you see in the show is coming from the one and only Lindsay, on me, out of eyes, out of everything else. But it's an incredible, incredible operation here. Welcome to room 325. That's with TR Knight and the one and only Burke Swanson. You know, like any other dressing room, you try to keep it as efficient as possible, but also give it an element of home or things that remind you of the show. So Theo was really, really lovely in getting a Godzilla poster, like an old vintage Godzilla poster, which is a nice reference for my character in the show. We also have some Totoro, and over here on this side, our new favorite film, Sinners. And, you know, just like little elements of joy. You know, we didn't get a Tony nomination for Louis McCartney's performance as Henry Creel for nothing. That comes from not only his sheer amount of grit and determination in that role, but it also comes from the commitment of this entire ensemble who are making sure that at the core, when there's explosions and lights and sound, you have a really in-depth, intimate story of trauma and family and all of those things that are happening at the same time. Hey, can you tell the people about who you play in the show and why that's so special?
Oh my God. Oh, you put me on the spot. I play Patty Newby. She's a new character to the Stranger Things universe. She plays a integral part in Henry Creel's story. We get to explore his humanity through Patty. Yeah, Patty's a lot of fun, and, you know, we get to enjoy the day through Hawkins.
Hey, look, it's 6:07. I've got to do a full body warm up and I got a show to do. So I'm going to leave you all here and I'm going to go hang out with Mindy, our mind flare. But we'll see you at the show. 8 times a week, baby, here at the Marquee Theater. Thanks for hanging out. See you later.
Operation Mincemeat has infiltrated Broadway. It's the bonkers true story about British spies who tricked Hitler. Let's send it out to Charlie Cooper.
Jak.
Hi.
Listen, we're here.
We're
it's
here.
raining, but we're going to make the most of it.
It's
because you're letting me walk you to work today, which I'm
so
super excited about.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for accompanying me. I'm very scared in these streets. So I appreciate that.
It's funny, we were just talking about Liverpool versus
Yeah.
New York City, and you were talking about loving it here. And how could you not? Because you are starring in a show that you are making people laugh in. You're teaching them about history. You're doing all the things. Tell me a little bit about what drew you to Operation Mincemeat.
So I was such a big fan of the writers. I really, really wanted to engage with anything that they did. Truly, I wanted to be there as a spectator or as, you know, part of the group. So when they said they were doing a musical, they used to write these plays and they said, we're going to do a musical. And I was like, oh, well, I do musicals. You have to let me be in it. You really have to let me be in your musical. And they did an open audition and I turned up and they knew me as a fan. They were like, here comes this big fan. And I did my audition, and they were like, "Oh no, he's great. He can be in it. He can stay." So I've been with the show ever since. So yeah, it wasn't even that I was drawn to it. It was that I was like desperate to do it. It was like it was a must. And it turned out I was right to want to do that.
I love that so much. Let's walk to work.
Please,
let's
do it.
It's funny, that makes me think of the Mincefluencers.
Yeah.
You guys' like fan base that is
love
just
it.
like all for it.
Our army of nerds.
Yeah, an army of nerds, but how exciting though to have that kind of fan base that like comes to the theater dressed up, like ready to just be energized for this performance.
Yeah.
Is there a part in the show that you absolutely love performing because of the reaction of the audience?
Yes, there's a moment in Act 2 when I'm playing one character and I transform into a different character before the audience's very eyes. I take 3 steps backwards, and in those 3 steps, I change into somebody else. And I love doing that. That is such a joy, because it's like, that's what the show's all about. We're showing, you know, what we can do. We're sort of showing our hand and showing the magic. So that's my favorite moment. And there's always, normally when we've done it, there's a gasp, which I think, and it's so simple what we do, but it still makes people go, wow, magic is real.
Right.
And I really appreciate that. That makes me really happy.
So I imagine there are a lot of Americans who weren't familiar with the story necessarily. Were you, like, growing up familiar with it?
No. So when people hear, they come in and they say, well, we don't know the story. I'm guessing you learn it in school.
Right.
And we don't.
Interesting.
It's like a weird, obscure little story that, the story came to prominence in the last sort of 20 years is when people started to be like, oh no, okay, this is a real thing that we need to pay attention to.
Right.
It really helped tip the scales that win us the war. So yeah, it's not one that I knew at all. I had to do all the research before I started.
What were your first thoughts when you read about it? Were you like, what the heck, is this real?
My first thought was, why didn't they teach us this? Like in school, they teach you, oh, isn't it sad, and we're all starving on rations, and quick, everybody get under the bath. Right. And I'm like, that's miserable. Like, why don't you teach us the weird harebrained schemes, the fun that people manage to have? I'm glad. I'm really glad to know the story. It makes me look at that time in a different light. It makes me happy, I think.
Well, it's pretty incredible, and it's such a learning experience, but also incredibly funny. And listen, you have a show to do.
I do, yeah.
So thank you for letting me take some of your time pre-show and break a leg.
Thank you so much. Thank you. See you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
It's good to be the king, The Lion King, one of Broadway's hottest tickets for nearly 3 decades now. Here's Perry Sook.
Thanks, Tamsen. Broadway magic is all around us, and combining that with Disney magic, you're in for a phenomenal evening. Let's head inside the Minskoff to meet one of the first faces that greets you when you come to see The Lion King. Hello!
Hi, welcome!
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Great, I'm so excited. We are here with Lee Eron, one of the managers of the magic here at the Minskoff. Do you mind showing me upstairs? I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you. Come on up.
So here we are right up the main escalator at the Minskoff, and this is it. This is your home.
This
your home,
is it.
Home away from home.
Yep.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you could be selling anything, literally anything here in the city, and you're selling Disney magic. What is that like?
It's wonderful. It's truly a dream come true. I really never thought that I would be here doing that. It's not what I came to the city for, but it's everything that I love about the city, and it's everything that I love about Broadway and Disney, just all coming together in one.
One thing I love about Disney shows is they always have phenomenally creative and wonderful representations of their show. So do you have any of your favorite items you want to show me?
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we come take a look?
Yeah, let's do it.
So one of the things that I find the most fun about our merchandise is seeing the guests' reaction and what they're kind of gravitating towards. So some things that stand out for sure are our baby Simba plush. Kids will run to this. They see it and that is what they want. They recognize him from the stage. You know, it's exactly what Rafiki holds up.
Yeah,
so
it looks
they
like
see
the
that
puppet.
And they love him.
Just want to hold up, Kristen's head.
Yes, exactly. Then we have an ornament. So the baby Simba ornament is actually an exact replica of the puppet from stage.
Wow.
So it's like you're taking home a little piece of the magic, a little prop.
Exactly.
That's something very special that we have.
So much Disney magic and Broadway magic right here. So I gotta ask, You're right here in the middle of it. What does Broadway mean to you?
So Broadway, it's such a wonderful place. It's full of talented people, and we're just so lucky to be here. And kind of right in line with Disney, it's just the feeling of the hopes, the dreams coming to life, and just everyone coming together. It's just a beautiful thing.
That's all for now, but for tickets, or if you want to see extended cuts of any of those interviews, head over to Broadway.com. Until next time, I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.